For the main account, no opinions.
Okay, yeah, Nick and I had a conversation last night.
Yeah.
I had this whole thing written up about how I was going to rip into Give Me a Break Man there, but...
That guy's an asshole.
Yeah, and he is on the list.
Yeah, and I think, like, just don't worry about fighting with those guys, because fighting with J-vloggers is cringe itself. These guys are dumb.
Yeah.
They're not going to be sold on any new ideas. They're stubborn idiots.
Yeah, that's true. He's on the list. We got him. He's somewhere further on down. He's pretty cringe. Okay, well, you guys have access to the Twitter. Just delete whatever you want.
All right, cool.
I had to delete one of you saying, well, I know I'll be voting for Trump.
Oh, why did you do that?
Because it's the main account, and you're speaking for all of us.
You guys can't vote for Trump. I'm the only
know.
one blessed with that ability.
Technically true.
Yeah. You guys should just be in control of the Twitter. My official position on Twitter is I fucking hate it. If you say anything, people try to get you fired or try to find out who you are or try to tell your mom. And it's like, what is this? Is this a free speech platform or is this like, let's go hunt people down?
No, it's not. It's not freedom of speech.
It absolutely isn't.
It frightens me because I want to go back to Australia, and Australian education is like so liberal. It's left of Lenin. Like they will tear you apart for nothing. It's like that thing I was talking about with Dogan, where like people didn't like the fact that he followed people with controversial views.
Yeah.
Not that he had any himself.
How about we just kick into it?
Let's start the show. Let's go. I'm excited.
Our official response, our official position is fuck Twitter.
Fuck Twitter.
fuck.
Absolutely
Okay.
fuck Twitter.
Great. Okay.
You know what day it is today?
Oh, it's the anniversary of the bombing, right?
That's right. And
70
what's
years
special
ago?
about it is that I get to do a podcast with my very own fat man and little boy.
Wait, which one is Nick?
I might have features from both, so yeah.
Let's bomb this podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we bad. This is the King of Kanto, episode 7, episode Nanaban, eh? Stay on the right side of the Yakuza, social distance at the ward office, and wear your Abe mask.
I wonder what happened to the Abe no Bra lady. She obviously didn't get elected during the Tokyo municipal elections, but well,
Was she part
she
of the
got my
LD?
vote.
Yeah, in spirit, she got mine. Was she part of the LDP?
No, apparently she was part of a former actors party where, he secured a bunch of kind of contrarian people. They get attention and they try to push through slightly less contrarian issues. So they do it under the guise of kind of being a little bit more robust with their kind of.
Is that the party that had the? Okay, so there was a candidate and his kanji last name had like a stroke, a kanji stroke, a favorite brand.
Mate, I had a stroke when I saw that advertisement with that
me too,
chick with the Abe no masks over her tits.
But
that was great.
In one of the prior elections, there was a guy and he was like totally naked, except the kanji, like they do brush strokes for the kanji.
Yeah.
There was a brush stroke like right over his private part. And it was like the kanji for his last name. I think he was part of the political party you were talking about. Because he was a former actor.
Could be.
But that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Probably during the K.O.K. first term, but there were some weirdos this election like that. The corona is just a flu guy.
Oh, yeah. My wife was telling me about him. Because
it was like corona wa kaze dake da no.
Right.
That person.
Corona wa kaze dake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very short and punchy. Corona wa kaze dake.
Yeah, it's just a flu, right? Yeah, but apparently he had like a couple companies and he embezzled from them and went to jail.
Yeah.
Which makes sense to me. It sounds about
He's
right.
a politician,
Yeah, so
for the course.
I don't even think he went to jail for long. It was like, go in this weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Yeah.
That kind
And yet they will arrest Carlos Ghosn for something as simple as, I don't know, moving some money to offshore bank accounts, which is what literally every CEO in the world actually does.
Well, yeah, you don't want to pay taxes on that stuff.
There was some article, I think, from the Rising Wasabi, and they said that Japan tried to assassinate him through bombing.
Oh, is that... Oh, because he's in Lebanon or whatever?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
his
the
house got
The
damaged.
Beirut explosion.
Yeah.
Apparently, his house was damaged in that.
Yeah, a lot was damaged in that.
Well, yeah, well, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
I saw this great tweet from Count Dankula where he edited the explosion to actually sing karaoke from the Yakuza video games.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It was the Baka Mitai song from Yakuza 0 or something.
Yeah.
Is this where your Yakuza research went this week?
I couldn't help it. Like, we started with Flaky Jake.
Jake the Fake a lot. Jake the Fake.
Yeah, there's Flaky Jake, Jake the Fake. We don't really know. We don't know him, but, you know, there's just so much online discourse
Why is he
about
called
him.
Flaky Jake?
It rhymes and it sounds fun.
Okay,
but-
Jake the Fake makes sense. It's like he's a liar and his name is Jake. But Flaky Jake's like, he doesn't turn up to work on time.
Yeah, Flaky is like, he's like, yeah, I'll meet you there at 7, and then doesn't show or shows up at 9.
Yeah, that nickname could have come from Australians because there was a fish and chip store in Victoria called Flaky Jake's.
Oh, maybe.
By the way, I heard the best nickname for Tokyo Drew.
Oh?
Boss Coffee, but it's like cough. Like,
Oh, Boss Coffee.
Boss Coffee, yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I was telling you guys before, I actually sat in on his live stream this afternoon, and all he did was eat a burger and like eat ice cream and pretend that he belonged in Roppongi.
Oh my God.
See, that's the job I want.
This is the thing. These guys have cornered the market. These guys are actually smarter than us. We always shit on J-vloggers, but Kelly Morita and Tokyo Drew, they're just sitting inside their house eating shit and playing games and like making money from it.
Yeah, I do that anyway, so I should be on TV, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
There was this great quote he did this afternoon where he points at Morty Tower in Roppongi and he's like, "Oh, Google's up there. I went there once for an important meeting."
It's like, yes, I'm applying to be the janitor.
Yeah, something like that.
No, I think it's like meeting. Like, have you ever, when someone says like he's in a meeting right now, and it just means it's code for anything? Like someone
Right.
takes a dump, and it's like, hey, can I talk to so and so? They don't come back and say, oh, he's taking a massive shit. They say, oh, he's in a meeting right now. So yeah, I believe Tokyo Drew has taken meetings all around Tokyo.
Yeah, and he doesn't even go inside to do it.
Yeah,
From,
we've seen he's had meetings on the street.
yeah, read episode 2.
Oh, only on a live stream.
Only on a live stream. Oh, God, the marketing writes itself. It's really great. Not that that's my forte, of course, Nick, but...
Not at all. Before we crack into Jake Adelstein. Adelstein?
Adelstein.
I wish there was a way to determine if it's Steen or Stein, because I have Jewish friends from back home, and they're whatever Steen or whatever Stein, and there's no logic behind it. It's not like, oh, the Lithuanian branch of this family pronounces it this way or whatever. It's just whatever it is.
As one of God's chosen people, of which I am, I'm going to put my foot down and say, for the sake of the episode, we call him Jake Adelstein.
Adelstein. Okay, let's do that. He might just come back and say, well, chances are he will say nothing. But he might come back and say something to the effect of, it's Stein, damn it, even though it's not.
Oh, no, if he
Let's
comes
hold
back,
on. We need to do a roving interview on Department H because apparently he's been known to show up there.
Well, no, apparently
Well, it was
what
last
he'll come
weekend.
back with is you guys are pedophiles and stalkers.
Okay, well,
That-
look.
that
Right.
means
We've
he's
got
gonna come-
stalkers.
Yeah.
We haven't got
Yeah,
pedophiles yet.
we're definitely stalkers.
What are you talking
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Well, that'll be a new one for us. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll go into that later. I don't know if you want me to go into it now.
Yeah, go for it. This is a segment. This is where we spitball, despite
Oh, no,
people
no,
not
no, no,
liking
no,
it.
no. This will be the B segment about the other comment. No, don't worry. I'll hold on to that. I
Okay.
I did my own investigative journalism this week.
Oh, you know what? I kind of did too. I read Tokyo Vice, blah, 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 subtitle.
I've got the book with me. Tokyo Vice. That's all it is.
Oh, you don't
No,
have the subtitle? Hold on.
I
The PDF file that I downloaded because I didn't want to spend any money on this. I totally got it at Barnes & Noble in Roppongi. Tokyo Vice, an American reporter on the police beat in Japan. Yep.
mean, I bought. I mentioned this last week as well, and this is why we want to bring up Jake Adelstein this week, is because I'm just angry I bought the book.
Sucker.
What do you? No, we're both suckers. You can't. I have it here too.
Yeah, I also have it in PDF format. Which
Hold on, Cam. Do you have the paperback?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, first Maddox, then Jake.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what's funny?
Life.
I returned Maddox's book. Fuck whales.
Did you get money?
Wait, you bought it?
I actually bought it, and this is before I discovered the Dick Show.
So just before we crack into this week's, King of Kanto, I just wanted to tell you guys, and this is a little bit of news. I've been out on the streets today, and I give you good news from wherever I am. Could be Osaka, it could be Tokyo. It is Tokyo.
Yeah.
Coronavirus is over.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Really?
nobody's wearing masks. It's done. We won, baby.
I wore my Abe mask for the first time today. It is not big enough for a foreigner.
No.
Either my chin was totally out or my nose was out. I couldn't do both.
Like what I mentioned, I am one of God's chosen people, and they weren't designed for people with my Takai Hana.
Yeah, no, myself as well.
That'd be a good segue. And speaking of large noses, here's today's King of Kanto.
Well, we don't have dick noses, but...
So let's do a little bit of a summary, because unlike previous week's King of Kanto, we don't have a lot of clips.
We have none.
We've got none. We didn't do any research at all. Nah.
No.
I think
I
we have
read the
done
book.
more. I think we have done more research this episode than we have done over the last 6 episodes.
Absolutely.
Not combined,
Absolutely
but
this
like
time.
on an individual basis, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read through the book. I went online. I spoke to people. Yeah, this is the heaviest week I've had for research.
Oh, you spoke
I hope I
to
haven't
people.
missed anything.
You spoke to people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I spoke to people. That's going to come in later on the show. That's going
Interesting.
to be a very funny little bit. The
Yeah.
only clip I could find was when he was trying to tell, was it The Daily Show?
Yeah, Jon Stewart.
Where he's saying, like, it's true. I'm telling the truth. That probably would have been a good clip, but apart from that, it's pretty hard. I mean, there's a TED Talk, which sounds like every TED Talk in existence.
Yeah, I'm over TED.
You
Talk.
don't wanna
Not just a
listen to
TED
it.
Talk, a TEDx talk.
Oh, so it's not even like an official one.
Nah.
Okay.
It's like How to Wash Your Hands guy.
Yeah, did you guys ever see the TED Talk where the lady's like, first you have to marry yourself. I've been married 8 times and for some reason it didn't work out. And it's like, no, because you're a fucking lunatic, lady. That's
I
why it
marry
doesn't
myself
work out.
daily.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As a whatever religious denomination boy I am, I don't believe in premarital self-flagellation.
So you marry
Yeah.
yourself, and then you get
Marry
divorced.
myself. Yeah.
Marry yourself, masturbation, divorce. Yeah.
When I was in the United States, I knew some people that were Mormon, and they did the weekend marriage thing.
Oh, I love that.
So they get married Friday night. They go out to like a cabin in the woods, live as man and wife. And the funny thing is, like, they'll go, like, it'll be like 4 men and 4 women, and they'll marry their girlfriend or whatever for the weekend, and they go do their thing, and then they come back and get divorced. And I'm kind of like, well, wait a minute, I understand the concept, but isn't divorce pretty bad in Mormon culture as well?
I asked Mormons about this.
Yeah.
You just have to ask for forgiveness. Like, certain sins are ranked higher than other sins. They just ask for forgiveness. I actually asked this, like you said, like, when you go to heaven, your wife will be there. And I said, like, can you get divorced in heaven? And they look to each other for a while. And there's like, I don't think you'd be thinking about that in heaven. It's like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
You already
Depends what kind of
got
life
there.
Yeah, you cross the finish line. Now you can do whatever you want. I thought that was the point of heaven.
Yeah.
But,
But
there's a great
hold on, with the
Mormon...
Mormons, do they go to the pastors and it's like, please forgive me, Father. Oh, how sorry are you? I don't know.
It depends on the weekend, I guess.
Well, you know what the Amish do, right? Where
I
they
do not.
release their kids when they turn like 18 or
Oh,
something.
Rompspring.
Dude, I
Yeah.
release my kids like 3 times a day.
Okay.
What are you talking
No,
about?
no, no, no.
God's sake.
The kids are born and 16 years old, and they release them for, I think it's up to 2 years? It's
Yeah,
1 year.
and
It's
they-
at least
and
1
they
year.
say,
Yeah, I think the Amish call it Rumpspringer.
It's Rumpspring, yeah.
Rumpspringer, whatever das Deutsch.
It's Pennsylvania Dutch. It's not even German, really.
Yeah.
It's a deviation of German. But yeah,
Apparently
actually, it's
they
really...
all come back.
Oh, well, no, but the problem is, I saw a couple documentaries on this, and there was a TV show called Breaking Amish where they had the kids deciding not to come back. Mm-hmm. The problem is they only give the kids like up to a sixth grade education, so they don't know algebra or stuff like that. They don't know a lot, and so they're like, okay, you're totally unprepared, go for it, come back. And so it's kind of like you set them up to fail, and then they come back and join the church, right? Yeah, because it has to be a choice that they make. So it's actually really kind of cruel because they're like, okay, cool, don't do drugs or anything when you're free from your draconian parents. And of course they get arrested and they do drugs and do all this stuff. And like the only job they get is making those wooden fireplaces or whatever, or cabinets for like mobile homes, because that's all
they
the
build
industry.
bonds, right? That's
exactly right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that speaking of a sixth grade education, that would have been the perfect segue to get into Jake.
Well, I mean, I think he made it through high school.
Well, you know.
And Sophia University.
Hold on. Graduating Sophia University is like winning the Special Olympics, mate.
Oh, there's a lot of Sophia grads here, man. Well, maybe that's part of the problem.
So, for the sake of background, I think maybe Cam, just from your understanding, can you tell us who Jake Adelstein is?
Jake Adelstein came here, I believe, when he was 19 years old. He wanted to be a Buddhist priest.
What?
Originally, according to his book. At some point, he wanted to be a Buddhist priest. He was training to become one. He bummed around Japan. It's really hard to know the line of fiction to non-fiction. According to him, he taught English and he gave women massages. And then he went into journalism, where first he started off in homicide, and then he moved into Vice. And that's when he wrote his book.
So if you read Tokyo Vice, what you'll get the impression of is real gritty, dirty kind of take on Japanese society, where a plucky young American boy has graduated from a Japanese university, has gone into the examinations to become a journalist at the Yomiuri Shimbun, which is, you know, one of the two largest daily newspapers in the entire country. And he didn't just do it as a gimme hire. He actually went in and he did it like a regular hire, like somebody who was Japanese doing it. So he had to do the full Japanese tests and X and Y and Z. And I think he said he graduated in like the latter third, but he still beat out hundreds of other Japanese people. But the more that you read into his story of grit and daring and going to clubbers and banging all of the girls and them just throwing themselves at him while he leads this daring investigative life where he is constantly out on the town, on the beat, rubbing shoulders with police captains and Yakuza in Saitama. Mm-hmm. The more you read into it, the more you realize it's a complete load of shit.
Yeah. So you guys came early and said, look, this guy's full of it. So I didn't go into this thinking that it was truthful. But even if you hadn't said anything, I have a couple passages from the book that I would like to read where, you know, you're reading a book and you kind of have this, like, you're into it. And It is well written. I think he's a good writer. But
it's very interesting.
It is very interesting. But the thing is, my suspension of disbelief was shattered in some parts. Like, I was like, wait, what? And, you know, it kind of takes you out. All of a sudden, you are sitting on your couch with your laptop reading this PDF file. You know, like... And that only happened to me a couple times. It happened to me in Revenge of the Sith because I thought that George Lucas put some certain lines in there to do a swipe at George W. Bush, and all of a sudden I wasn't on that molten lava planet. I was in a movie theater with my friends looking at a screen. You know, it kind of like takes you right out because something so out of place happens. I've only read the first third of the book, and it's happened 3 times. So, I mean, I have those passages, and I think you guys are going to cover other parts of the book. So,
I just wanted to check, what's your description of it? My feeling is, if you got Tintin and Indiana Jones merged together in a film noir, that's what the feeling I get from this book. Like, what?
Whereas Jake is Tintin, and his ever-active penis is Snowy, following him wherever he goes.
Well, it sort of reads like, you know, I walked into the club and all of the women looked at me and I could hear them whispering.
You know who you sound like? Do you know who you sound like?
Who do I sound like?
Daniel Lord.
No, no. Let me put on my British accent. But that's what I mean. Like, it just reads like it's a love letter to himself.
Yeah,
It
it's an
is the
embellishment.
male Asian sexpat Mary Sue fantasy.
Absolutely. That's a good way of putting it. I like that.
Yeah.
I want someone to look at me the way Jake Adelstein looks at Jake Adelstein.
I was just going to say, I mentioned last week that his entire work reads like fan fiction. It's the most self-aggrandizing piece of fan fiction that anybody's written. But instead of writing Sephiroth X, I don't know, Winnie the Pooh Yowie, he's writing it about himself, where he is infallible. He is the most intelligent, where he outsmarts both the police captains and the Yakuza. Women throw themselves at him. We've lived in Japan long enough to know that it's probably not that true. Sure, you can go to a snack bar and get a Christmas cake to throw themselves at you, but
he also
he makes it sound like they pay him for it.
Yeah.
he kicks the shit out of Japanese people in their own martial arts.
Oh, what? Don't. That's one of my passages. So please let me.
Oh, sorry. So you can edit that part out.
No. We'll keep it in. It's just please. It is one of the. It's the first passage where I realized I was sitting in a chair reading a book.
So I want to get into the passages.
Okay, so I have 3, and they're all from the first third of the book. I only got through the first third. I am going to finish the book. It's actually an entertaining read, but it's all bullshit. My first passage is, as Cam mentioned earlier, about him kicking lifetime martial artists' ass for no reason. I read in the company newsletter that you do Wing Chun. That's like some kind of Chinese martial art, right? Right. Do you know Shorinji Kempo? Yeah, that's the Japanese martial art started by Do Shinso. It's a really interesting fighting style. It's the best fighting style in the world. It's a Japanese martial art. I'm sure it's a great martial art. I prefer Wing Chun. It just suits me better. Shorinji Kempo is the best. I turned my back on him and started walking toward our next stop with Yamamoto. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Kimura launch a roundhouse kick at me. As a martial artist, I generally suck. Wing Chun, my chosen discipline at the time, is the martial art famous for the 1-inch punch, a short distance impact strike using the bottom 2 knuckles of the hand for the final impact. After years of Wing Chun, there were only 3 things that I could do correctly. The short distance punch was one of them. Without thinking, I turned and blocked the kick and punched him full in the chest, knocking him on his back. It was an extremely lucky punch. It was like hitting the sweet spot on a tennis ball. There was a pleasant thwack on impact, and Kimura actually lifted off the ground for a nanosecond. So that's my passage that I wanted to read, and I love how I've never even heard of
And the ugly
Wing Chun.
girl put on makeup and released her ponytail and took off her glasses, and immediately everybody was enthralled with her.
It just sounds like he's stolen parts of a script from a Jackie Chan movie.
Right, and the 1-inch punch, I thought that was Jeet Kune Do. Isn't that Bruce Lee?
Nah, 1-inch punches. I mean, it's just a trope at this point. It's not a thing.
I mean, it is a real thing. I've seen the video of Bruce Lee doing it in the 60s or whatever, but
Yeah,
I don't know if
and
it's
the
Wing Chun
1.5-inch punch and the full, reach punch. Like, any punch is a real punch if you put a little bit of force into it. Like, it's not as if it's a mystical martial art. And you do encounter some people in Japan who kind of do that whole snooty, well, karate, that is shit. I only do kung fu.
Yeah, but I mean, have you ever had that conversation?
No.
Like, when you're walking down the street, it's like, because I used to do karate in Australia, and I suppose that it's not the same thing where you're walking down, it's like, oh, I saw that you practiced under Sensei Tao in the twisting dragon punch technique. Like, that's how he's talking.
You can't
Yeah.
defeat my eagle technique.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what it sounds like. Like, how do you have so much knowledge about each martial art? Nobody knows.
Haha!
what-
How has he mastered the 1-inch punch? Haha!
I think
Little
that's what
speed
the guy
racer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Chim Chim? He knows. He's mastered it. He's unstoppable now.
Ah, yes, but you can't block my serpent punch. Hiya!
Haha, Speed. Haha, Jake. I see that you've mastered the 1-inch punch, but have you mastered the 1/2-inch punch? Ha!
Nani?
Nani?
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh battle,
Yeah, right.
basically. He used roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So, but the thing is, he described his opponent as like a short, fat guy, like in his a short, fat guy in his 50s, and this was during a Bonin Kai. So,
Oh, yeah,
so somehow a short, fat guy in his 50s did a roundhouse kick.
And he would
He
have been
doesn't-
really
he-
fucking drunk.
Yeah,
Hold on,
in his
the-
business
the-
clothes. Come on.
The other thing is, okay, he's doing a full roundhouse kick, which obviously means that he has distance. If he can successfully pull off a roundhouse kick, he's got the actual length and the distance between himself and Jake. So how does a 1-inch punch, unless he didn't mention moving in, he didn't mention like dodging in,
Yeah.
he just says that he put his hand out a little bit and it just connected and made a satisfying thwack like a tennis ball.
Well, what I love is he said roundhouse kick and 1-inch punch. If you had to name two of the most common martial art techniques that everybody has heard of,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
would be them.
And then also, I'm surprised he gave this guy a name that wasn't Chuck Norris. You know, it's like, yeah, Chuck Norris tried to beat me up in Roppongi. It's like, you know, it's so absurd.
He probably originally wrote like I did a Hadoken, and
Yeah.
then the editor
Yeah.
took it out.
Yeah.
Like, no, Jake, we can't put in Hadoken. Sorry.
No.
So
Yeah.
I do kickboxing, right? And even if I was drunk, I would do the same technique that I always do. Kick their knees. That's it. You kick their knees.
Which style of kickboxing do you do?
I do the style where you kick people. It's kick punching. That's what I do.
Okay. Kick punch.
I kick and punch.
Wait, was that the name of like a fictional movie and a TV show? Kick Puncher.
Kick Puncher was from Community.
Community.
That's it. Community. That's what it was.
Puncher.
Yeah. Kick Puncher 3.
He's Nemesis Punch Kicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Kick Puncher 3. This time it's personal.
Yeah. Ha! Your Western martial arts cannot beat me. I'm just gonna kick you in the knees.
So that was my first passage.
By this stage, we know that Jake is a genius, a Japanese savant,
Yes.
a journalistic, I don't know, wunderkind, and also a martial art expert.
Yeah. Wing Chun 1-inch punch martial arts.
Sorry, I forgot number 5.
What's that?
Absolutely irresistible to women.
So that's my third passage.
Can
But
you guys do it again with the WoW? Can you check the WoW?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm like on the book and not manning the soundboard here.
I think that would be good. Yeah.
Right, Nick and Cam?
Yeah.
So I have a second passage here, and I need to set the scene. So basically, a Yakuza guy wants to talk to him, and he asks a favor. And I'm going to read passage where I was like, once again, enthralled in the story, but then realized I was sitting in my living room.
Oh, wait.
Totally pulled out. Yeah.
Would it help the audience if they got a picture of Jake to look at while you read this?
Wait for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Wait for
You
the
should-
thumbnail.
The thumbnail will be epic, I am sure. Nick
just
does
wondering-
all of our thumbnails, and they're really good.
Because whenever you read about women throwing themselves at him, it's good to have a picture of him around for reference.
Yeah, to totally make it believable.
He's not a Chad. He's not even a Chad light. He's not even a Chadlet.
It's a chode. Chode.
He's a
Ooh,
chode.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that aptly describes him. All right, so I'm going to read the second passage here, guys. Well, Kaneko-san, I'm a reporter, not an informant for the Yakuza. And to tell the truth, I really don't like doing favors for the Yakuza. I do know one person I can talk to if I decide that there is information that I can pass on to you. I will. I won't make any promises. That's all I ask. As long as I'm here, can I ask you a question? Not a favor, a question. Go ahead. It's the least I can do. How do you make... Oh, wait for it. How do you make money for the organization? The police released these figures that suggest 70% of your cash comes from selling speed. Sounds like bullshit to me. Maybe there are thousands of speed freaks in Saitama, but I sure as hell don't see many of them. You're correct. I won't go into specifics, but I'll tell you how this enterprise works if you're interested. I am. Kaneko then proceeded to outline his style of organized crime to me. The Sumiyoshi Kai, in its heyday, had been very active in jacking up land prices, blah, blah, blah. So basically, he just asked this criminal mastermind, okay, this criminal mob boss, hey, can you tell me the entire outline of your business? And he's like, sure.
Of course.
Of course. I would totally do that to this guy I met once and totally trust.
I want your Chim Pokemon in exchange.
Again, I think that
Jake-san, please trade Pokemon cards with my son.
I think again that in his original version he was over a tank of sharks, and it's like, you're going to tell me your plan? Sure, Jake. Like, and the editor removed the tank of sharks.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's like, no, you're at his office smoking cigarettes. Okay, go.
No, Adelstein's gone full Scooby-Doo, where he just points his finger. It's just like, I know what you're up to, see?
Yeah.
You tell me your business or I go to the cops. Oh, okay, I'll tell you. If it weren't for you meddling kids, I would have gotten away with it.
Well, I think we're the meddling kids, and Jake Adelstein isn't going to get away with it. Oh, man.
Again, like, everything that he does just reads like this Mary Sue fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally unbelievable. It's a wonderful piece of fiction. I'm interested in finishing. I finished 1/3 of it, like I told you. I am on page 168, I think. Of the book out of, I think, just 397 or something like that. So I'm 1/3 of the way through. I'm gonna finish it. It is a compelling read, but if somebody were to tell me, hey, yeah, this is totally true, I'd be like, no, dude, no, not at all.
So it kind of goes into this point as well, and I had to dig deep, and I tell you what, Jake has a lot of blogs written up against him and his antics. Yeah, Reddit loves him.
Yeah, so you're the Redditor. I'd like you to talk a little bit about that because, you know, Cam and I are not Reddit guys, but there is a boatload of information on people like Mr. Adelstein.
Yeah. So apparently one of the biggest points were that he says that he actually took the test to become an investigative journalist with the Yomiuri, but he didn't. He actually got an intro through the president or the dean of Sophia University. So he was basically a diversity hire.
I didn't know they did that here.
Apparently they do. He got kind of nepotistic, I guess you'd call it, intro in order to get in. So that was fine.
All right, let's talk about Reddit Adelstein.
Redditstein.
Redditstein, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I've gone back in a few posts, and there's this great one from years ago, which I'm sure from an SEO level is absolutely the bane of his existence. But it was stating on R Japan, is Jake Adelstein a good source for investigative journalism? Where everyone just immediately goes, get fucked! So there's this, I pulled up a comment in front of me, and this guy has this like 10-point post about how much he hates him. But it just, and quote, Adelstein and his publisher declared Tokyo Vice non-fiction, but it has no bibliography and is in fact a fake memoir. Adelstein embeds lies, which are mainly inserting himself into the action among a lot of real events and news stories about them. And I think that's a big point. He's doing self-insert. A lot of these things may have been happening around him and around his colleagues, but potentially he wasn't really there. He claims, and has apparently claimed for a long time, that the Yakuza are after him. You know, whatever branch of the Yakuza, I don't really care. But he claims that he attended a court hearing for Tadamasa Goto and sat right behind... Gotogumi. Yeah, Tadamasa Goto. And sat right behind him and reached out and touched him. But that's not possible in a Japanese courtroom because there's no jury box. The defendant sits off to the right, where the US juries sit, about 3 meters behind the gallery. The defendant also sits on an open bench with his attorneys sitting behind them. Adelstein described the layout of a US courtroom, which would suggest he's never been to a Japanese courtroom.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I haven't been to a Japanese courtroom either, and I don't intend to. It seems like he'd been watching a little bit of Law and Order. In addition to that, he claimed that a medical examiner had called him to come over and gawk at a unique suicide victim's body before the police arrived. And I think this is the first third of Tokyo Vice.
Yeah, I read that.
It seems a little bit... Yeah, it seems just so insane that a coroner would invite somebody in their early 20s who was a journalist to gawk at a body.
Yeah, this seems
So
like a level of unprofessional that would not befit a police person, right? Or a coroner.
That just seems a little bit odd. He claimed that he had a friend, Helena, who was an Australian woman who worked at Berlitz, was murdered by the Yakuza for presumably doing sex work. You don't know. Both Berlitz and the Australian embassy have denied this and said that no Australian has come up missing in Tokyo. If somebody had gone missing, that would be awful, but apparently the facts don't really point to that.
And plus, missing white woman syndrome, like the entire nation would go on high alert looking for this person, right?
You know, he claimed to bump into a man who set himself on fire in a Saitama park. That just randomly happened. It is a lot of self-insert.
It's Forrest Gump,
Right.
where he's embedding himself in the story. It's historical fiction. Like, it's all the historical points that have actually happened, and then we just have this imaginary protagonist inserted in each event.
He is the Forrest Gump of Tokyo.
I think it's not so much for Forrest Gump as the Baron von Munchausen. You know, who rode a cannonball and flew to the moon.
Right.
And I think that's the big thing about him. He just self-insert, wildly exaggerates these events just to kind of make himself seem cool, sexually debonair, intelligent, dangerous, and in danger.
If the organized crime in Tokyo wanted to get you, they would get you. Like, if somebody wants to kill you, like, they're really motivated to kill you, at some point they're going to get you. That's why there's, like, witness protection in the United States. They change your name, you have a whole new identity, you move to a different part of the country, that's it, it's over, right? Because if you betray certain types of people, okay, like the Yakuza, like he writes about prolifically, yeah, I mean, somebody will kill you eventually. And it's just the way it is. You can't stop a group of 4,000 people from coming after you.
He seems to be a wonderful attention seeker. Like, even in 2011, he said that he had liver cancer that just kind of miraculously disappeared.
I didn't hear about that. But, yeah, he seems like that kind of a person. Like, oh, yeah, I have this horrible disease. Oh, wow, the Yakuza friend gave me a tea and now it's gone. You know, like that kind of utter nonsense, really. Okay, anything else?
Well, I was just going to put one other Twitter point.
Yeah.
Was that after the 3/11 earthquake, he got so into the fact that there could be nuclear fallout that he started encouraging foreign residents to take iodine tablets to prevent, radiation sickness from the fallout.
Yeah.
Which is apparently quite dangerous if there is no fallout.
Yeah, I don't think you want to take medicine if you don't have symptoms or are in danger of anything. And Jake Adelstein, a doctor he is not. I don't even think he's a reporter, to be honest.
I want to talk about the Helena thing.
Yeah.
Because that is, for me, that's a smoking gun that there's something wrong with his story.
Yeah.
Because there's two outcomes in this. You read the book, he claims to be super close to her, right? Mm-hmm. And he writes this book, and at the end of it, he actually says, like, he has emotional trauma from her going missing. That he blames himself for her death, and he has nightmares about her. Okay, so there's two possibilities that he lists. One is that she's alive, and she ran away just around the same time that it was getting really hot, and that, the heat was on her. It's like, okay, so she left, and she cut all ties with him, but then his book comes out, and either she doesn't bother to read it, or she reads that this guy she was super close to has nightmares about her death, and chooses not to respond.
Or she never existed in the first place.
Yeah, or she never existed. The other one is that she's dead, and like Nick said, the government just doesn't give a shit. The Australian government, the Australian media, none of her family decided to look for her. No one gives a fuck. she just fell off the edge of the earth.
King of Kanto is a biatch?
Yeah,
But Jake Adelstein is a biatch.
It's two fucking ridiculous things. The Helena character doesn't make any sense. And I understand that, like, when you're writing an autobiography, you're writing something, you want to make it exciting, you want to make it fun, you might exaggerate, but you're a journalist talking about ethics and truth all the time. You should not have any made up shit or any exaggerations in there.
It's Gamergate. It's about ethics in Japan journalism.
Yeah. Oh God, don't
Real
bring that
journalism.
up. Now we're MGTOWs, guys. Anyway, yeah, no, I mean the book is listed in the fiction section. So, and I think when you only tell half truths, it's lies by omission or lies by insertion. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
As my next passage will
Hey.
go into. But
I'm ready. I want to hear it.
yeah, let's just jump into the next passage. So this next passage, let me set the scene. Jake Adelstein is hot on the trail of a murderer, and he decides that he needs to interview a hostess girl at the hostess club and begins a relationship with her friend, who just happens to have all the information and, over the course of their torrid love affair, gives him exactly what he needs right at the moment he needs it. Like, totally in real life, right?
He's James Bond as well. He's Indiana Jones, he's Tintin, and he's James Bond in one character.
Yeah, but he's not good looking. So, that is a personal opinion, non-actionable. Anyway, Sekiguchi answered the phone, and I started to relate the tale of the tapes when Kimiko, because she was miffed and because she had a bizarre sense of humor, yanked my pants down and began to fillet me. This made carrying on a conversation a little hard to concentrate on.
Jakey boy!
Yeah, exactly, right?
I hate when that happens.
Okay, sorry. Let me continue. A little hard to concentrate on, and I started talking as fast as I could. Murders. Body. Kimiko. Me. You. If that's true, we have to pull in a ride right away. Good work, Jake. Anything else? No, I don't think so. Are you all right? You're talking real fast. I'm fine, a little tired. Okay, take care of yourself, he said. Then he hung up. So, yeah, he just can't make any business calls because these girls keep on falling on his cock. I mean, it's amazing.
It would be rude to push them away, though.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a
polite
gentleman.
society and all. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. You don't want to refuse cake when it's offered to you.
Yeah, because I know how that would make me feel.
The correct answer is satisfied.
Yeah, had to throw it in. One an episode. So yeah, those are the three passages where I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, come on. That was number 3. So, like I said, it's a well-written book. I don't want to say Jake Adelstein sucks as an author. He's actually
he's good.
He's a good fiction author. He's a very good fiction author, and I'm going to complete the book because it's entertaining to me. But like our accomplices on Reddit, and I think on Twitter and just in social media in general, if somebody said, hey, I heard Jake Adelstein, and the first thing we go, stop. He is a prolific liar. He wrote a really interesting book that is 80% fiction. I recommend it. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't finished it yet. Read that book, and that's all you need to know about Jake Adelstein. He is not a truth in journalism ethical guy.
As a book in fiction, it doesn't work a lot because you like to have your protagonists lose occasionally. That's a huge problem with the story, is this guy never fucking loses.
There were a couple times where, like, the story got scooped and, like, one of their rivals went to press first, but it wasn't really a loss.
It's such a tiny thing that it's like, the guy gets a punch on him, but then he kicks the shit out of him kind of stuff. Like, it's, someone scooped this, but I'm the best journalist in the world, and I brought down the Yakuza single-handedly.
Oh, man. The Asahi Shimbun scooped it, but this girl just keeps on sucking my dick. It's like, wow. I mean, Jake, I feel really bad for you.
Oh, Jakey.
Oh, poor Jake and all your blowjobs and kung fu. So I know you guys actually read more of the book. Did you guys have passages you wanted to harp on, or...?
There is something I want to go into. Mm-hmm. So basically, he got attacked by a guy who is a journalist in Japan called Christopher Johnson. And
I'm sorry, Johnson. Okay, I'm a kid. I'm a kid. Okay.
Okay. Christopher Johnson wrote very negative things about him, right? I think he might actually be behind a lot of those points made, those 10 points about why Jake is full of shit. Anyway, what happened is some other guy called Christopher Beck started insulting Jake as well. Okay?
Now, who is
I wanna
Christopher
go in-
Beck?
Christopher Beck is a different journalist who is insulting him. Now, he wrote an article called Japanese Gangsters Cancel Halloween in Japan. And it's got the subtitle, Ignore All the Hype About a Yakuza War in Japan. And he makes fun of Adelstein's reporting. And he said that Adelstein is saying, okay, that the Yakuza are going to start a war. In fact, this is the quote. It's Adelstein, who also wrote a Yakuza Halloween story himself, reported for Vice, not Tokyo Vice, but the Vice, that the police were preparing for innovative tactics from the Yakuza. An anonymous detective, it's always anonymous, from the Hyogo Police Department, even if a gang has no weapons on hand, they just need the right equipment. Print, kill, melt the gun. The Vice article quotes the detective, those new guns will be hard to trace. Escalation could be very fast and very bloody. He started saying that the Yakuza is going to 3D print guns and send out drones to fight each other in a Yakuza war.
That sounds like the nerdiest Yakuza war I've ever heard of.
This is what Adelstein said was going to happen, and this guy, Christopher Beck, said that's a load of bullshit, right? Because the 7 points of newsworthiness, one of them is bizarre. If a Yakuza war was fought with drones, with tacked on 3D printed guns, the whole world would know about it. Everyone would have heard about that. You know
that's worldwide news,
Yeah, so what happened is Jake got pissed as hell with this, right? About someone trying to take him down. So he wrote an article back saying, I've got a creepy stalker called Christopher Johnson who is using, he's a cyber stalker and he uses virtual sock puppets. He's pretending to be a different journalist called Chris Beck, and he's pretending to be a guy called Kita Yasui. He actually writes, Chris Beck, Kita, I don't have the balls to use my real name, Yasu, right? He's saying that Christopher Johnson, who's insulting him, and Christopher Beck, who's insulting him, are actually one guy.
And so let me guess, he didn't do the research.
He did not do the research. So I tweeted today at Christopher Johnson and Christopher Beck saying, can you guys give me some evidence that you're not the same dude? And Christopher Johnson replied to me.
Did he?
He said, yes.
Oh, shit.
He said, yeah, it's amazing how I was managing to be in Southeast Asia reporting on the hard rock music in that scene, while Christopher Beck was in Virginia posting about local politics. Christopher Beck and Christopher Johnson are two totally different guys, different Twitters, different bodies of work. They've been living in different countries forever. So it's either the greatest troll, and by the way, these articles like 5 years old. So Christopher Johnson and Christopher Beck, this one guy has, according to Jake Adelstein, keeping these two accounts open, pretending to live a double life for like 5 years just to fuck with him. Oh, by the way, Christopher Johnson also said that he loved our Debido episode.
Yeah, I'm reading that tweet right now. Hey, one person liked it. All right.
It was absolutely attached to Jake.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I've seen this episode before as well. Just, it seems like Jake thinks that any form of criticism has to be trolling. Not that he's kind of exaggerating the truth and people want to call him out on it.
Yeah.
He just cannot believe. It's like, well, some guy hates me online, and some other guy is called Christopher and hates me. Only one person in the universe could hate me.
Yeah, hold on. Christopher and Christopher? How do I join the dots? Oh my god.
If only I was some sort of investigative journalist,
Yeah.
I could look up this shit and find out whether it's two different people.
Oh, man.
Or you can be me, a guy who is not a journalist, who took 10 minutes and one tweet to figure it out.
Hey, so just away from the Christophers, did you guys read up on Jake's interns?
Oh, you sent the picture, and I'm kind of like, yeah, okay. I get it.
This one, I almost tweeted at one of the interns as well.
Oh, you should have.
I should have. I could have. But after being connected to Jake, she locked her account. She blocked everyone. She protected her tweets. And on her Instagram, she removed all pictures of him. And I'm thinking about sending a message to say, like... But it's so weird, because it's a question I have to say, like, hey, you don't know me, but were you sexually assaulted? Like, it seems like a weird message to come from a stranger.
Now, we're not in the business of lying and implying, but
no.
Apparently there have been rumors for a long time that Jake does enjoy the company of aspirational women, you might say, who are looking to break into journalism. I'm not saying more than that, but apparently the linkage has been quite noted. That he doesn't squire young men.
Well, that doesn't
but
necessarily
he will mentor, as the great feminist that he is, he will mentor women.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty women.
Yeah.
Very pretty women in their early 20s.
Hey, everybody likes pretty women in their early 20s.
Hey, I'm a guy who works in an industry, and if anybody was going to give me an intern, I put my hands up and say, no, please. I think that's an entirely different kettle of fish, and I don't want to speculate about things that we don't know involving interpersonal relationships. I think it's fun for us to giggle at his content, because it does read like Twilight fan fiction.
Oh, it really does. I mean, at this point, if section 2 of his book, he says, oh, when I was young, I was bitten by a werewolf, I'd be like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to read this to the end. Because it's on that trajectory. Because it's got a hint of truth, and then, like, around the corner, it could just go totally bonkers, and
it just turns into Neo.
Right. It wouldn't surprise me, I'm saying, at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else to say about the crack journalist from Tokyo?
There is something.
Yeah, crack journalist. That's those are other rumors as well. But
I'm saying crack.
Leave them be.
I'm saying crack as in expert. I don't know what you were inferring.
Not at all. But just pop your iodine tablets, put your fingers in your ear, and be careful, because everywhere around you, there could be a Yakuza hiding around the corner.
Can we talk about a couple of other things?
Oh, yeah.
Just to sort of strengthen our argument. First of all, in the book, if you go right to the back, sources and source protection, he basically has this thing about saying that the reason why he's so vague is because he's protecting his sources, that the Yakuza will kill them. So whenever you ask, it's like, well, where are these people? Or who are these people? It's always like, well, I can't give you their names. So basically, that's a big cover for him, is the Yakuza's too dangerous for me to give you any information.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, and for somebody writing fiction who wants to pass it off as genuine, it's a perfect excuse for him.
And the New Yorker did an article about him, and this is what they said. Okay, to this day, nobody at the paper will speak on the record about him. Some reporters told me that he was a liar. It's strange that they're either not talking about him or they're calling him a liar at his old newspaper.
That says it all, right? An actual investigative journalist went and researched Jake Adelstein, and nobody will be willing to speak positively about him. I mean, that's all you need to say.
Sounds good to me.
Anything else?
So I went to watch his TED Talk on YouTube, and some guy started quoting those 10 points about why he's fake, right? And do you know what he did? He went through this guy's responses, like this guy's comments on YouTube, and he went back 2 years to find where this guy had said, like the guy who was criticizing him, this guy had said something about this woman surrounded by guys. You know, what's going on here? He went to try and find a semi-rape apologist comment. So basically, if you attack him, he very quickly goes to ad hominem attacks. In fact, for Christopher Johnson, he went to saying Christopher Johnson might be a pedophile. He lived in Thailand.
Okay, living in Thailand does not automatically make you a pedophile.
Exactly. Like
a sex pest, maybe.
Oh, I think sex pest definitely. But
he never addresses the criticisms. He always addresses the person and what they've done in the past.
Right. So basically, he does the social justice thing. You say one thing that I don't like, and I am going to destroy you and your livelihood, and call your boss, and tell your sister, and all that stuff.
Well, he mainly goes for like, I'm going to find some time where you said something racist or something sexist, or somewhere where I can imply that there's something about you. You know, like he knows that people are already going to believe him, so he just goes and attacks that stuff. He never addresses the criticism. Like the Helena thing, people keep bringing it up. He has nothing to say on the matter.
It's a conspiracy that there hasn't been any information released in the last 10 years.
All right, boys. So
Shall we run the nomination?
Yeah, let's do the nomination. We'll do a nice, clean, crisp nomination song. And Nick, you're going to take this again? I think this is your thing now.
This is my thing now.
This is your thing now.
I think I'm going to do a limerick this week.
A limerick? Did you write it in advance, or are you going to wing it?
I'm going to wing it. I've never prepared for a speech in my entire life.
All right. Here you go, man.
All right. Limerick. 5 lines. I can do this. All right. There once was a man named Jake who rarely made a mistake. He pulled out his cock, housewives got off, and his fiction is not a hot take. There I went. I limericked you, Jake. Your fiction is entertaining. It's interesting. HBO picked it up. It was rumored to be a Scorsese film for so long. Probably your own rumor. I don't know. You obviously have writing talent, but you are essentially Baron von Munchausen incarnate. You want to self-aggrandize yourself so much that you need to elevate yourself beyond us mere mortals and turn yourself, a very average man, that's fine, it's okay to be average, into something of an Arnold Schwarzenegger. A real, machismo-driven, testosterone-fueled, wushu punching dynamo of a man. You're just ordinary. I am too. That's completely fine. But, just use that writing talent for something that's good. You don't need to chase a white horse. Find your own beacon. You'd probably be good at it. So, mate, you're this week's King of Kanto. To be honest, for me personally, I think you'll always be the King of Kanto.
That was great. Man, you limericked him. Jeez, dude.
I limericked him.
Got limericked.
You're not average to me, Nick.
Thanks, Bay.
You're my everything.
You guys are so not straight. Anyway, you guys are real British cigarettes. Anyway, yeah, exactly. All right, let's get out of here, shall we?
Skedaddle.
Everybody, kingofkanto.com. Go and vote. We got 19 responses now. We're up from 14. So we got 5 more responses from episode 6. Very happy about that.
We've got 9 people following us on Twitter. We had 10. we had 10, but Jay scared off 10% of our Twitter followers.
That's right.
Which just happened to be Give Me a Break Man.
Yeah, well, fuck him. He's on the list.
He might be. Yeah, he's on the list.
Yeah, I'm about to give him a break. Anyway, yeah, fund our Bone and Kai. Patreon.com/King of Kanto. And hey, if you want to send us an email, we are kingofkantopodcast@gmail.com. Send us anything. Send us your nudes. Send us a question. We'll take a look. It's an email. Yeah.
We've already got requests.
Yeah, well, we got a request that was subpar. So, but yeah, if you guys want, write a message to us, make suggestions. We'll take, we take a look at the content and we'll check it out. So, anyway, that'll do it for us this week. This is the end of episode 7. Everybody, thank you for joining us, and we're out of here.
Oh, cheers, bro.
Thanks, Fangs. We love you, Fangs.
Icky guys.
Fangs.
I know. I wrote
Fangs.
Fangs. All right.
Fangs for life.
Yeah, I like Fang.
Shout out to Ian Chin.
Yep.
Ian.
Ian.
On board.
Numero uno. First fan. I've always loved these songs.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's a banger.
It's a fucking best.
All right. What do they say in Hollywood? That's a wrap.
If I were to go gay, it would have to be like a colossal penis. Like I'm not going gay for a little chode.
So you're not going gay for Jake Adelstein?
Not. There we go.
Nice.
No,
nice.
it would have to be significant.
I mean, that sounds kind of scary to me.
Am I?
Are you still here? Oh, you are. Thanks for listening to the end. We sure had a lot of fun this week. Nick, Cam, and I are happy you took a listen and laughed along with us. We'd like to tell you that our nominees are real people, and we aren't criticizing their character, we're analyzing their content that they put out into the world. They have hopes and dreams and aspirations just like you, and although we gave them a polite ribbing on the show today, we have to insist you don't contact them on social media. The purpose of our show is to have fun and critique our nominees' content, not to incite cyberbullying. The trio of us are expert trolls with years of experience and know when to rein it in. Thanks for your understanding. See you next week, Kings.